Hello, authors! Welcome to another edition of Self-Publishing Insiders. My name is Jim Azevedo, and today I'm thrilled because friend of the podcast, Dale L. Roberts, is back on the show.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be back here, Jim, and especially, you're hosting things, so it's going to be a blast, man.
It's going to be a blast, dude. And we were talking about this because, the pipeline was getting low. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to find a guest. And I'm like, wait, Dale. We have to have Dale back. And this time, our topic is YouTube for authors. But before we get into it, if you don't know Dale, you probably should. He has spent over a decade helping authors publish smarter, sell more books, and build sustainable careers doing what they love. Dale himself now has more than 50 books and 40 literary awards to his name, including, correct me if I'm wrong, Dale, 14 books that are targeted to authors. Okay. So when you visit Dale's website, you'll see like his award stickers all over the place on his books. And if I may, it's kind of disgusting actually, because
all these. Wait, hang on. Wait, the championship belt. We can't forget about the championship belt. I don't share this enough. I got this for the Self-Publishing with Dale series. No, I didn't buy it. This was awarded to me. It's a freaking wrestling belt. So yeah,
seriously,
you see it at a conference. I'm going to be wearing this for sure.
Yeah, you better be wearing that.
Yeah, I'm just going to put it right over the shoulder.
Oh my God. Yeah. So he's got all these awards. And I would say it's kind of disgusting actually, because most of your books for authors have multiple awards attached to them. So it's kind of funny. But today we're here to talk about YouTube for authors. Now, Dale has grown 2 YouTube channels to a combined 130,000 plus subscribers now. And he has successfully monetized 4 YouTube channels. And wouldn't you know it, he's written an award-winning book aptly titled YouTube for Authors. There it is.
Hey.
Yep. So I discovered Dale years ago, way before Drafted Digital acquired Smashwords, and my first reaction was, "Who is this guy? Like, his stuff is so good. How long has he been around?" From his videos are super pro in every sense, from the content to the audio to the lighting to the visual. As you'll learn, he's articulate, he's polished, but most of all, he is passionate about helping indie authors become more successful. So Dale, welcome back.
I love the introduction. Now it's all downhill from here, folks.
It's all downhill.
It's all downhill.
We're just gonna tank. We're just gonna tank this episode.
The good news is we got a very special setup today just for Drafted Digital Self-Publishing Insiders. Anybody that's watching the visual aspect, not the podcast, is going to understand, but I popped open my office because it's really hot in here. So you guys might see some figure floating in and out. That's my wife. So she's going to probably make a special guest appearance a time or two here in the background. So
well, say hello to her for us. We're glad to hear that your place isn't haunted.
That's awesome. It looked like it because it's like you just see like the shadow behind the wall there.
We have a lot to unpack today. And as I mentioned backstage, Dale's book, YouTube for Authors, it just has this really, really thoughtful, logical flow about how to approach YouTube correctly. So I thought we would just riff off of those chapter headings and let's hop into it because there's a lot of really good content.
Yeah.
So Dale, my first question for you is, why is YouTube important for authors?
I wouldn't say it's important for all authors because the thing that I always try to tell people is if you're trying to establish a presence on a platform, don't do it in spite of yourself. Be like, oh, I hate YouTube. Like, if you don't like YouTube, you don't see value in YouTube, I'm not pushing a rope. I'm not going to force you into something like this. But for me, I've been a fan of YouTube since its early days. Love it. I've consumed so much content. In fact, probably 90% of the content I consume today is YouTube. So like there's sometimes people like, did you see the Amazon Prime movie? No, I didn't. I watch YouTube like a lot. So I'm very obsessed about YouTube in general. And so that's really where I just try to tell people is if you have an inkling of a desire to go into YouTube, definitely give it a shot because there are a lot of authors that are killing it. And I'm not trying to tell everybody you need to do a channel like mine. No, you're welcome to, but try to think about the audience that you typically serve. Who is your ideal reader and what is something that they're looking for? How can you scratch that itch on YouTube? And it doesn't matter the niche, because there's so many different niches here on YouTube
Mhm.
that it's just, you'll find something. You just have to look, you have to put in the research, and you need to take the time to understand the platform and how people present what they're doing and how you can adapt that into your own workflow.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. You mentioned in chapter 1, just right off the bat, that authors should define their goals. And this is kind of what you're alluding to. They should define their goals and their purpose on YouTube before anything else. So why is that? And can you offer, let's see, sort of an icebreaker questions that authors should ask themselves to get unstuck?
Well, the good reason why I say have a goal, it's
Yeah,
not just me trying to be self-helpy or rah-rah woo-woo type stuff. It's not,
sure.
it's not. Because if you're just going into this saying, well, I see Dale being successful, or I see Michael Laron being successful, or I see XYZ author being successful, so I need to
Mhm.
go there. That's all well and good for them, but you have to think about, how is it applicable to you? What do you want to get out of this? Do you want to sell more books? Do you want to grow your reader base? Do you want more
Mhm.
email subscribers? Knowing how and what you're going to do makes all the difference, especially when you're approaching this. Because I'm going to be honest here with you. YouTube can be somewhat simple, but it's also hard to master. I've been doing it for over 10 years. And I'm going to tell you this, that I love the praise. I will never try to turn that down. It's super, super nice of you. But I still feel I have leagues to improve on. Like, there's so
Yeah.
much stuff that I could do better in my presentation, how I'm talking, how I'm positioned, how I'm lit, all those types of things. And having that goal in mind helps me understand how I want to present myself on this platform.
Mhm.
Knowing that goal, what do I want to get out of YouTube? And how can I be of service to my audience so that way they will come back time and again to YouTube? So that's why I say get that goal dialed in, because when the times get tough, you will hold tight and push through. And I'm not saying being bullheaded and just do a bunch of dumb stuff that's going to get you absolutely nowhere. But, when I get stuck, when I see the numbers are dropping, when I start to notice that, well, things are trending down or it's trending up, I always try to take a step back and say, okay, how could I better approach this?
Yeah.
I never blame the algorithm, ever. You will never hear me blame the algorithm, because that's just essentially you're telling, people, I blame you for not watching my stuff.
Mhm.
No, if someone doesn't watch my content, it was because it just did not trip their trigger. It was not something they were looking for.
And I've
I
heard
own
you.
it.
I've heard you say that before, just to me, just on
Yeah, we're
offline
texting.
conversation. Yeah, you're like, "Oh, this didn't land as well as I thought it would with the audiences," and then you would just pick it apart and dissect it and try to figure out, why it didn't land. And
Yep. I
book
mean,
mark.
even before we came on, I was even talking about my more recent review of the Drafted Digital platform, and I'm already just picking it apart. I'm already like, I should have done this and this, that. You're like, dude, you did fine. I'm like, but that's just the way I am. I am, here's,
Creators,
yeah, I'm just my own worst critic, to be
right?
honest.
Aren't we
And
all?
it always kills me, because, you get trolls that will come in and they'll say some hateful things. And I'll be like, you shut up. You have the
Dude,
audacity to think that I'm worse on me than you?
there
Take a
are
take
no
a lot.
trolls on the internet, Dale.
Yeah,
Come on.
exactly. The internet's pure, and it all has good intentions on it.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Okay. That's really good advice. All right. So let's say that I've got my goals and I've kind of defined my purpose. So how does an author know when she's ready for that? To publish that first video, and how should she go about planning it? And
Mm.
um, since I'm already on a multi-part question here, is it best when you're getting started? Is it best to plan a single video, or should you
Ooh,
maybe plan out a few of them?
that's smart. So what I would say is, if you're brand new to YouTube, definitely, if you can think about this before you launch your channel, try to build or seed out a number of videos, because having just one can work against you. Because, I mean, you just have the one, and if someone says, I'm good, they're not going to be served anything else from you going forward. So to me, I feel like if you can and you're starting it out, try to seed out your channel with like 3 to 6 videos, meaning that as soon as you launch that channel, all 3 to 6 videos go up at the same time, because you have no subscribers. So there's not going to be any real big issue. You're not going to nuke anybody's notifications feed. And hopefully those 3 to 6 videos are going to bring in your ideal audience. I kind of like to have a little bit of a backup though, because life gets in the way. And if you're an author, you're probably busy writing, marketing, or a combination of both those things. So I would say, yeah, kids, normal life things that get in the way. So I would say is if you do seed it out with 3 to 6 videos, get another 3 to 6 videos scheduled and waiting in the wings. And I would say, get it to where it's, I don't know, trickles out, we'll say once a week or at least once a month. Now, as far as when knowing you're ready, you just have to pull the trigger. You just have to trust yourself. You just have to be okay with having a little bit of egg on your face. Go back, watch some of my oldest videos. I think I still have some from 2017. I deleted all my 2016 stuff years ago. I just won't even go into that. That was stupid. But go back. It's horrible. It's horrible. I leave it up because I know that, first of all, A, people are still watching it and find value in them. And B, I want to show that, like, it didn't start this way. It didn't start with the lights. It didn't start with the teleprompter or the fancy microphone or the curtains or anything else like that. It started with a green screen and me yelling into the camera. Yeah. I don't know why I was yelling, by the way, folks. It makes no sense, but I did. But you will never be truly ready. What I would just say is, if you see the opportunity here in YouTube and you want to act on it now. Okay. It's an imperfect action is better than no action whatsoever. And this is something I like to share from time to time. And I've got it in reach here.
Is it another belt?
Oh, no, hang on. It is a silver play button, which you get for when you cross 100,000 subscribers. Now, mind you, here is my silver play button. They decided to update it to smaller rather than bigger. But I got this one from an old follower of mine, Walter Weiber. And Walter,
show that again.
So this giant one, we both had 100,000. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But Walter was a very interesting cat. He had been supporting me for a number of years. He went through some real tough times, and I would encourage him, and I'd tell him, don't give up, don't give up. And it was about March of 2020 when I got in a text or an email or a DM from my content manager saying, hey, did you see Walter's channel lately? And I'm like, channel? And I knew he had a YouTube channel, but really wasn't doing anything with it necessarily. Well, she was like, go look at it. It literally blew up overnight. And here's the beauty of Walter's story is he didn't have a perfect camera. The thing was in 360p. Right now, what everybody's watching is most likely 720p or possibly 1080p. His was a fraction of that amount. So it was blurry. It was a bit grainy. He didn't have a good microphone necessarily. It was okay. People could hear him. But the cool thing is he'd hit record, pause a second, and go right into his stuff. Pause, shut it down. Never edited it. Put it right up. And all he did, he just did not wait for being perfect. He didn't wait to be ready. He just said, you know what? Let's just do this. Within a year, he hit over 100,000 subscribers. He turned his whole entire life around because I don't know if anybody realizes this. When you hit a certain threshold of viewership, you get monetized where you could put ads on your videos and other aspects and such. I'm sure
we'll get to that too.
Yeah. So he was pulling in a ridiculous amount of life-changing money because he's getting anywhere from 20,000 to 100,000 views within the first 24 hours of launching a video. So this man was pumping out 1 to 2
that's
videos
inspiring.
a day. So yeah, unfortunately, there is a sad part to the story. Walter did. It was, I would say, a year and a half into him, getting all this, that he did get sick and he passed away. But I hang on to this. And if you see any of my old videos, you'll see that silver play button hanging up in the background because that's my tribute to him. Now it's just personal thing where it hangs up on my shelf here and I can personally see it. But Walter's story is just to illustrate the fact that you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to worry about having the perfect editing tools. You just need to be uniquely you, be authentic, and that's going to resonate with people. And I think they're going to love you so much more when you just deliver from the heart because people can sense that. People can feel that.
Absolutely, 100%. I'm glad you said that. I'm going to intersperse some questions and comments as we go through our
Yeah.
chat here. Here's the first one from Layla Bell, VT. Hi, Layla Bell. She asks, what kind of content should authors consider making and for what target audience?
Ooh. So your target audience is going to be your target reader. One of the biggest mistakes, and I love to kind of lay this out, Laylabe. I'm just going to go with Layla. That's probably what the name is there. So Layla, figure out who your target reader is. Now, let's just take a step back because I want to share a story of how I broke into the business of YouTube. At the time, I was actually fairly successful in publishing fitness books. I was one of the top fitness authors at the time, from roughly about 2016 to 2018. But in 2016, in my infinite wisdom, I decided to scratch an itch when it came to YouTube. And I got on there and I did a channel devoted to self-publishing for authors. Now, I didn't do a channel about fitness. Yeah, I had one there, but I just never messed with it. It was goofy that I decided to go there. Now, no regrets, Layla. I love the fact that I took this direction, but if I was a little smarter and I thought a little bit further ahead, I would have built a channel around fitness. And then I would be able to embed a lot of the lessons that are in my books already. So that way people go, oh, well, the natural next step is I just watched this video, it was killer. Let me go ahead and pick up a copy of Dale's home workout plan.
Yeah.
Something like that. So as far as what type of content, what I suggest, and this is, I'm going to oversimplify it here for everybody because I cover it in the book way more in depth. You're going to want to make sure you're doing research on YouTube. Could you just do any videos you feel like? Go ahead. But for me, I plan out everything. Like I try to figure out what is really resonating with my ideal audience. So
Did you always do that or did you learn that through your experience?
I know I didn't always do it. I think it was the first year I didn't take YouTube very seriously. It was just a lot of my videos were either bland and boring or just over the top. Like, and I tried to do some like adult comedy type stuff, and it wasn't working. And it wasn't until I had a conversation with a friend of mine, Brian G. Johnson. He's got a great channel, by the way, Brian G. Johnson TV. And, you know, we had an honest conversation to where he said, you have to be, you know, because I was frustrated that I wasn't getting any traction. And he's like, you have to be honest with yourself that the style of content that you're putting out there is serving a rather niche audience. If you want to see more success, you're going to need to walk that back. So, Jim, you've met me in real life. I curse like a sailor. There's a lot of things that I try to keep off camera, and that's for good reasons. Because Brian spoke with me the one time, and it made sense. If I want to reach that larger audience, I'm going to need to make sure I'm a little bit more professional and I come a little bit more prepared. But as far as the content goes, it's very similar to how we do our research in self-publishing books. So open up YouTube in a browser in incognito mode. If you're using Chrome, you can just press Control-Shift-N, I think it is. But get into incognito mode, open up YouTube. And what you're going to do immediately is don't log in. You're just going to go into the search bar and start to type something that is relevant to your niche. And this is going to take a little bit of work. So you're going to probably start to type out, let's just say, for instance, you're, I don't know, a fantasy author. Find some type of trope or book or movie related to that and start to type that in and see what auto-suggest populates. Select some of those things and open it up. And what I want you to do is study and look at what's working. And when I mean what's working, I mean what's working currently. So anything in the last year, what I'm going to be looking at is, okay, is it pulling in 10,000 to 100,000 views? Then this means that this is definitely resonating with my audience. If I see a video that's pulling in, say, 38 views, I'm going to go, this is probably not an idea worth pursuing because there's no proof of concept in this area. Now, I'm not telling you, Layla, though, to steal someone's ideas. What you're going to want to do is look at the ideas that are being successful and figure out how can I adapt that to my content strategy. Now, I'm going to double up on this one, Jim. I promise.
Yeah,
I'm going to bring it.
I'm like soaking it in.
So what you're going to do, and this is something I learned from Daryl Eves. He's essentially like the YouTuber's YouTuber. This is a man that helped coach Mr. Beast, which is the largest channel today on YouTube. But Daryl had suggested a long time ago to me, open up a separate YouTube account. Okay. It could be underneath your same login email, doesn't matter. Just open up a separate one. And you're going to use that strictly for research. So I've got this separate YouTube channel. I go ahead and I open it up. You don't need to publish anything on that separate YouTube channel, by the way. You're just going to be using it for research. You're going to log in. And the very first thing you're going to do, you remember all those keywords you were looking up and you saw those videos that were working really well. Start typing that in. You see a video that matches that criteria, watch it. Watch it from beginning to end. If it was good, hit the thumbs up. If it was really good, leave a comment. If it was excellent, hit subscribe. Don't stop there though. You're going to look on the right-hand side and you're going to see the recommended videos. Look for videos that follow the same patterns that relate to that specific video. And you're going to go and hit that one. Watch it through, hit the like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. You can do this for, let's say, half hour. If you're feeling froggy, you can go a couple hours if you want to. I never went too overboard on it. But what I would do is take a break for a day or two. Make sure I logged out of that specific profile so I don't accidentally watch a video. Because what I'm doing is I'm training YouTube's algorithm to pretty much pull in all the videos that are right for my ideal audience.
Yeah.
And now I can start to handpick those things, because as soon as you open up YouTube, which is called homepage, when you open that up, they're going to start to recommend those things. Do the same thing. Watch the video all the way through. Hit the like. Keep doing that because you're training the YouTube algorithm. By the way, this is a great hack for anybody that wants less garbage videos, because if you see a garbage video on your homepage, guess what? Hit those little 3 dots and say, don't recommend channel, or I don't like this video. Either one of those works, because then you start to train that algorithm. I hear a lot of people that are like, oh, there's so much AI slop in the videos on YouTube. Because train your algorithm. Yeah, train your algorithm, because I make it dead simple. I'm like, okay, I didn't like that. That was a garbage video. Don't recommend channel. And here's another one that will help you guys out even more. Go into your watch history. If you accidentally watch a video that's no good, delete it from your history. Boom, out of here. So that way the algorithm's not sending any more of that garbage to you. But yeah, train your algorithm. And when you do train that algorithm, Layla, it's going to make your content strategy so easy. Okay. Like you're going to be like, oh my gosh. Now, depending on the niche, it might require a lot of work. It might require a little bit of work. It could take a couple of weeks to a month before you really train the YouTube algorithm. But if you stick with it, you're going to definitely get a lot of clues about how to find your target audience on YouTube.
All right. That's really good advice, Dale. Thanks. I'm going to bring up another question here. This one's from Larry Merrill. Thanks for this question, Larry. She asked, is there a minimum play length or optimal play length for videos?
Go as long as you need to make it. I know that sounds so vague, right? If your video needs to be 30 seconds, do 30 seconds. If it needs to be 30 minutes, go for 30 minutes. Now, let's just say, for instance, this is typically why people will ask this question, because they want to know, okay, I want to get paid for these videos. Right. So if you want to see the best payout, shorts, you make a little bit of money through shorts. Long form video, much better. Now, when I say long form video, you're looking at if you want to run pre and post roll ads, meaning like allowing YouTube to serve ads on your video before and after. Any amount of time is fine. However, if you want to get mid-roll ads, which means they're placing ads in the middle of your video, and by the way, you can set those, then you're going to want to have 8 minutes or longer. And I can't tell you how many times I used to work with a video producer, and now he's moved on to a fantastic channel. He's viral at this point, but it drove him crazy. If I had a video that would finish at 7 minutes, 45 seconds, he'd go, no, you're going to go do a pickup shot. You're going to do a pickup shot. And I was always like, I don't like the mid-roll's not that important to me, man. He's like, no. We're getting the mid-roll. So you do this pickup shot. So that's really like the metric. If you really are looking at trying to maximize the most from each one of your videos, you want that the pre, post, and mid-rolls added in there. 8 minutes or greater is what you're going to want to shoot for. But I just say, don't force yourself to do 8 minutes or longer. Just put a bunch of fluff in there for just the sake of it. To me, though, I just want to personally deliver the best video possible, whether it's 3 minutes or 30 minutes. So I'm never really focused on, well, let me go ahead and put a bunch of mid-roll ads inside. It don't work that way. Like I literally just want to provide value, because to me, what's most important is keeping people watching. Watch time is king on YouTube, folks. The longer you can get them to watch, the better YouTube's algorithm is going to love you, because it's going to, oh, well, there's a lot of people like that like this. Let me go ahead and send more people. Point,
because I was just about to ask you, Dale, like for newer authors who are just building their audience, is it smarter for them to do shorter videos just so that, you know, people who are unfamiliar with them can get used to them? Or are you just saying, no, it's what the content calls for?
Yeah, it's just what the content calls for. But if you're brand new to things, I would say just start. Again, thinking back to the Walter story of just start. And you'll adjust it as you go along. Like lately, a lot of my videos land somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes, sometimes upwards of 30 or 40 minutes. And I'm not doing that purposely, but I always believe in trying to create a one-stop shop in any of my videos, where someone watches that video and they're like, oh, dang, I learned everything I absolutely needed to learn. That's the whole point, as I want them to keep watching. So yeah, you're going to need to kind of figure out what works for you, because I would say 5 years ago, if you came and told me like, hey, you're going to start doing 15 minutes to 30 minutes per video, I would have been like, what? Because back then I was doing like 5 to 10 minute videos. And I thought, oh, I was giving a lot of value. But here's the cool thing is I've learned in the 10 years is I pay attention to the comments. And there are some people like, oh my gosh, there was a point I used to put music in my background. Whole Lord. I just got sick of hearing it. Guess what I stopped doing? Putting music in my videos. And it was becoming such a distraction. And I just learned like real quick. People didn't like it. I also had this crazy like editing style for a minute.
Was it your music?
No, not my music. No, it was stock music that I paid for. But you know, yeah. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Where was I at here?
My bad.
No, you're good. I'm sorry, I got derailed completely there.
My fault for derailing you. Well,
no, okay.
Let's move on. If you think about it, we'll come back to it. Okay, but thank you for the question, Larry. Next question I have for you, Dale.
Okay.
What about expectation setting? Let's say that you know I've got some traction on Instagram or TikTok. Does that translate over to YouTube?
No,
if I'm new to YouTube.
I wish, because you would think I would go over to TikTok and Instagram or Reels, and they would just automatically transfer that success. No, I do okay on those platforms, by the way, but not 2 channels with over 132,000 subscribers. Well, it's understanding the language and what resonates with people on each one of those platforms. What works here really well may not work really well over on, say, Reels or TikTok. So just if you're studying any of those video creation platforms, and by the way, I won't knock any of those. I've seen people just absolutely crush it. I know AP Beswick, he just nails it on TikTok. Like, dude, he's a stud on TikTok. You know, I'm trying to think of someone from Reels as well. There's so many of these video creation platforms. Now, with that being said, though, this is what I've done. And what I've done is if I've made a short form video, a short form vertical video, it's going to go over to those platforms. Not all the time. It just depends on how lazy I'm feeling, but I will take those and I'll just post it on there because 1, it doesn't hurt anything.
Right.
And 2, I did the work. So you might as well go ahead and put it in front of them and see what happens. So if you look over at TikTok, I think I have like over 2,000 followers or subscribers or whatever they call it over there. Right. That's all just from me. Sure. Right. Yeah. And if I did a better job in TikTok and took it a bit more seriously, it probably would have a better cross-pollination, but I'm literally just going in and dumping the videos there, which is not a good best practice, but I'm focused on YouTube. The other ones are just kind of like, just in case YouTube decides to pull the rug out from underneath me, I've got at least somewhere I can set up shop. And then at that point, I would probably start to study the platform, what works for that platform, and start to build my content around that.
I love that answer because it kind of speaks to the answers that we've received from other experts who've been on Self-Publishing Insiders. And that is focus on the channel or the platform that works best for you, that you enjoy the most, instead of spreading yourself too thin, trying to be everywhere, and bring everything to everyone.
You don't do that. Yeah. And I will tell you that there was a point, Jim, where I felt like I had to be ubiquitous. Like I was just like, oh, I got to be everywhere at one time. Like, no, just don't. It's just take one, master it, and dabble a little bit on the other platforms because you might learn a thing or two that you can apply to your main platform. And in the event that you get deplatformed off that, well, guess what? You got the stuff that you dabbled with, so you can run with that. So like, for instance, if YouTube were ever to just pull the rug out from underneath me, well, guess what? I'm already a Twitch affiliate.
Right.
So I can go over to Twitch and start to do live streams there again and still get paid. So there is a lot of things that I've done that I was like, that was stupid, like doing a bunch of platforms all at the same time, but at least have a backup plan of some capacity.
Yeah, diversification. We talk about that a lot on this channel, surprisingly.
Yep.
Let me bring up a great question here from Peter. Hey Peter, appreciate this question from you. He always asks good questions. What app software do you use to make videos, Dale?
Oh, Peter, I'm telling you, I'm
gonna give away the secret sauce here.
No. There's stuff. Okay, first off, Peter, you can always do the Walter method. The Walter Wyburn, literally shot, uploaded. That was it. No editing to it whatsoever. So what you saw was what you got. But let's say, for instance, you really want to dial it in. I'm going to tell you what I use, but I'm going to discourage you from using it for good reason. I've been using Camtasia since 2016. And so it's just actually not even 2016, because back then I was using Windows Movie Maker and then an iMovie. So I think it was probably not until 2017 I started using Camtasia. And it was good at the time because you could buy a lifetime license and continue to use it. But now they're no longer a lifetime license. They work much like Photoshop, where you have to pay like a monthly due or an annual due. And at least I have the old licenses, but the problem is the thing crashes on me constantly because the support is no longer around. Essentially, I think the last model I have is 2021. So it's 5 years old. I continue to use that. Now, what I would recommend to you, Peter, is there are a number of like services out there, like AI services. I can't speak about them. You can always dabble with that. I'm a bit of a control freak. I don't want to have AI coming in and messing with the stuff that I like to have my hands on. I enjoy video editing. But I would say DaVinci Resolve should probably be the first software for you to consider. One, it's free. Two, you get free updates as you want. And there is an upgrade. But Peter, unless you're doing an MCU movie, and legit, MCU movies are done through DaVinci Resolve's upgraded thing. And it's like $300 for lifetime or whatever.
DaVinci Resolve?
DaVinci Resolve. And I think they're on version 19 maybe by now. Okay. Maybe it's 20. I've lost track. But that is where I'm moving myself over to, is with DaVinci Resolve. There's a bit of a steep learning curve. I would recommend, if you want to learn a little bit more about DaVinci Resolve, Daniel Battelle is a good person to check out. Last name spelled B-A-T-A-L. He looks like a rock star. Actually, he kind of is a rock star, but he's really good. Like, if you think about how I've been in the self-publishing space and kind of cemented myself here, he's like that for video creators, and especially with DaVinci Resolve. He's really, really good at what he does. There are other video programs that you can go with, but I can't speak on how good or not good they are. I do know that Adobe has theirs with, is it Premiere Pro? I think, maybe. But yeah, just do your due diligence, because ultimately you're going to be the one that's going to be using that software on the regular basis. So you may have to dabble a little bit. Try a couple like trials of some of the stuff and see how it works out. But the beauty of DaVinci Resolve is there's no trial. Just grab it and don't upgrade, because you're wasting your money. Like, there's no reason for you to have cinema level videos. I mean, unless, Peter, that's your thing. If that's your thing, run with it, go ahead. But I'm telling everybody right now that DaVinci Resolve, just as it is a more than sufficient tool to get the job done for what you have. Now, if you're doing mobile content creation, there are a number of apps. I've heard good things about CapCut. If you got an iPhone, iMovie is a good one. Just take a look through and again, experiment with these things. If you find that software isn't agreeing with you, or you're getting angry about it, toss it out, go to another one. That's the reason why I share my frustration about Camtasia. Is I'm not going to pay a annual due on this particular software. And if I am going to pay for anything, then I'm going to go and get better software that doesn't crash and isn't going to charge me a bunch in the long term. So that's why I'm heading to DaVinci Resolve.
Okay, love it. Another question here from Ghost Cran, who says, you have a teleprompter? Okay,
wait a second. Hang on. Hang on. You guys get to see the behind the scenes footage here. So
we do.
That's
an actual teleprompter. Wow,
Yep.
I can see me. Hey.
Yep. It clips on top of my DSLR camera. But the cool thing is they have adapters for this. My apologies. It's
It's okay.
getting it on is what did I do, Jim?
That's why I love live streaming, because all the
Yeah,
live stuff
you get
happens.
all the mistakes and everything, and this
Dogs
goofball
barking,
over here
you know,
trying to put his
running through the
stinking thing
room.
back on. Hang on, let me get up so I can look at it. So,
And I see a giant cat to your right.
Oh yes, that's my monitor. I always have my things that make my day, which is my cats.
But that's really cool.
But yeah, this is my teleprompter. It does work with all types of cameras, so it's not just for DSLRs. And that's another thing too. I want to tell people is just because you see a YouTuber doing it doesn't mean you have to adopt it. So I do not encourage people to invest a lot of money like this.
Tell us why you're using the teleprompter. Like,
okay, so the teleprompter, the beauty of it is, well, you saw I'm able to look directly at the camera and continue this conversation. Have you ever seen like an interview when someone's doing this? Yeah,
like me every week.
Right. It's
reading.
And that's totally, that's where it's really nice is having this. This is the Elgato prompter, and I'd like to say it was a couple $100, if not 250. It's a bit expensive, but remember, folks, like YouTube pays me, so I usually just reinvest into things. Same thing with the DSLR cameras. I mean, I've got a DSLR camera here with the lens on top of that. It's somewhere about $1,500. I've got another DSLR camera up here. I've got 2 Elgato lights, things like that. So only go for the things that make sense. Now, with that being said, I do have an old teleprompter that was a lot smaller. And what I would do is it did the same thing. It would hook on my DSLR, and then I would take my iPhone, and there was an app that I could put into it, and I just slip it right into there, and I'd have a remote, and I literally just do it like this. For me, when I'm doing the teleprompter, I like doing the talking to you, obviously, but let's say, for instance, we're doing a webinar and I have a presentation. I can put my entire script right there, and I'm still looking at you as I'm talking to it. By the way, I don't have a script up right now. But that is one of the beauties of having the teleprompter. And I am very critical of myself. I can do live video. I've proven it time and again, but
I'm laughing because I know how critical you get of yourself.
I do. There literally, I will abuse myself after a live stream because I think about just
before. I'm like, dude, calm down.
Yeah, it's that's just the way I am. And but when I have a teleprompter, I don't know, it's like a comfort blanket to me, because I know I've exhausted all possibilities before I even shoot the video. So when I have the script ready to rock and roll, I'll go ahead and do it. Now, the cool thing is I've built enough buffer in some of my prompter messages and such. That way, if for some reason I want to ad lib, I want to improv, I can do that. And I also have a little switch down here that I can play, I can rewind, I can fast forward. So in the event that I just want to go on a rant, I can do that and then just continue that prompter as I go along.
And the reason I wanted to ask, and I'm glad that Ghost Cran asked about the teleprompter, is because when I watched you do your news segments, you're just spouting off all this news. Like, you know, maybe we made a news announcement that morning of, but you're also talking about news from Ingram Spark or Lulu or Vellum or just whomever. And you're talking to your audience, looking straight at them.
Yep.
But you're reciting the news. I'm thinking, how does he do that? Did he just read our press release once and he's got it? Like, so I had a feeling you had some tool in the background. I just didn't know what it was.
The kicker.
How you did it.
Yeah, here's the kicker though, is if you see a news segment, those news segments I produce every week can take anywhere from as little as 2 hours to 6 hours to produce, because I'm curating all throughout the week, and I'm, you know, putting an asterisk next to them. I'm reading the newsletters. I'm thinking to myself, how can I organize this? And then when I sit down to actually do it, I pull out all those pieces and I try to organize it in a way that makes sense. I open up either voice dictation or I use my keyboard. Usually it's been voice dictation lately, and I'll just go ahead, rattle those things off. And then I go ahead through, start to edit, reorganize, edit again, start to figure out, okay, can I move this here? Can I do this here? But yeah, that's why it's, you know, I go so smooth. And here's one of the things I learned is do one bad take, because here's the beauty of it is when you do that one bad take, and I'm not saying purposely be bad, but just do that one take with the expectations of it being bad. Because here's the cool thing is sometimes it works really well because you'll get it in one take. But if it goes bad, the cool thing is you stop that recording, start a new one, and it feels more natural.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, okay, I've already read that line 50,000 times when I was writing it, but when I read it out loud, it's going to sound a little stilted initially. And so usually that second takes when I'm like, I'm loosened up. I'm like, okay, here we go. We're good to go.
Yep.
One of the things I just would tell any author that's trying to do video is give yourself a little bit of leniency. Okay. Give yourself just a little bit of grace. All right. Because early on, I used to have meltdowns. Like, Jem, you see how I am abusive about myself. Oh, no. I would scream, I would yell, I would be angry. And like my wife was always like, dude, you gotta calm down. Like, and it wasn't until I was at Vid Summit 2018, maybe, and I seen Nick Nemeth and Brian G. Johnson, both YouTube experts. They're doing a collaboration together, and I couldn't help but notice Brian is just doing like this resetting feature where he's just kind of like, he's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And I took him aside. I was like, dude, you so like, that was really cool. And I told him the situation, like, what do you do? And I was like, when I don't do something right, I get angry and I start yelling. He's like, how does that help your video? And I'm like, good point.
Yeah.
And you know what? That finally gave me the permission to be okay with messing up. And sometimes I just leave the mess ups in there because I'm just
it's like, so interesting because as writers, we're taught, if you go to conferences or you talk to New York Times bestselling authors, they all tell you some version of just get it out of your system. Just get it out. It's going to suck at first, but just get it out and then go back and fix it and polish it up. So why don't we do that with our videos? I do it with my presentations. If I have to speak at a conference, I'm constantly going over it. I speak it because, like you said, when you write down the words, it's going to sound different when you're speaking it. Sometimes it just doesn't work. So I get that. I've got some quick fire questions for you because our time is just like zip, 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 zip.
Okay. Quick answers.
All right. So the next one, I think this is important. Chapter 5 of your book covers something that we've been talking about a lot lately on the pod here, and that's the art of building a loyal and engaged community. Ooh. Can you tell us why engagement is so much more important than views on YouTube? I really want people to just absorb this point.
Yeah, views are all well and good, but views alone don't pay the bills, and views isn't going to be something you can hug. Views aren't something that you can be able to relate to. To me, I feel like anybody that's posting videos in any capacity, or they're trying to build their platform in this way, needs to realize that there's somebody else on the other end. They're looking for you in some capacity, whether they're wanting to be entertained, informed, or getting some form of value from you. And that engagement is proof that you're doing the right thing, that you're moving in the right direction. Now, of course, there's going to be some engagement. You're going to get some negative people, but I mean, there are some people that build a brand around having negativity come towards them. That's your thing. Scratch that itch. Go ahead. I don't want to stop you. But engagement is the way that you know you're being successful, that you're becoming successful, that there are more people that are showing up. And it was very much a prime thing when I started out. Was I used to just hate it when I would comment on someone's video and they wouldn't at least give like a thumbs up or a heart or like an answer to me in some capacity. And I said, I'll never be like that. Now, unfortunately, 132,000 subscribers, I do have to be selective on most comments, but if you ever comment on a video, most likely I'll respond. Yeah, it's so important. I know that there's humans on the other end of things. I'm not just here trying to be some guy on a stage better than anybody that's watching my stuff. No, I'm with you.
In the age of AI, it's more important than ever.
Absolutely. That's your differentiating factor amongst all these other ones that are trying to lean on that software. If you come forward, warts and all of your imperfections, people will love you for it.
You just gave one of the best quotes. I don't even know if you caught it yourself, but you gave one of the best quotes probably in the history of my hosting self-publishing insiders. You said views are not something that you can hug.
No, you can't. It won't kiss back either. Views won't do that. And to be honest with you, yeah, sure, I get my payday, but in the same instance, that engagement, there's so many people's lives that I have affected, that they have shared, but believe it or not, you guys have affected my life in a profound way. Like there's just so much that goes behind the scenes. And when you do get into video content creation, you will notice that it starts to feel almost isolated. And so that's where that community makes you feel a little less isolated and more like you're with people that appreciate you, that love you, and want to see you succeed. And I feel the same way with the people that support me.
Yep. And I wanted to pound on that point, because what we're seeing now, and the news media is starting to cover it too, is the success of self-published authors, because it's that ability to create these interactive communities with their readers. They're not just marketing and pushing to their readers, they're interacting with them. They're taking them on the journey. Like in the conversation last week with Maddie Dalrymple, who talked about serializing her novel and taking the readers on a journey with her as it kind of played out there. It's all about creating that connection and taking those readers and your community with you. So I love that. And Dale, we're getting closer. So I have another question I really wanted to cover with you. And that is, there's something like 120 million channels on YouTube.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous amount.
But like only 65 million of them or so are actually current. And authors are always worried about sort of standing out in a crowded bookstore shelf. So what can an author do to stand out on YouTube? Is it possible?
Be yourself. I know it's just you hear this a lot from other people, but it's true. Just be yourself. You are unique and people are going to embrace you. Now, I know some people go, but Dale, you said that you're not cursing like you normally do. Yeah, but I also know that that's not going to draw a very good audience, and that's not going to pay the bills. So being selective about being yourself is also probably something to consider. But be yourself, be authentic. I think that that's really what's going to be the differentiating factor that's going to make you stand out from the pack. And don't worry about anybody else outside of your sphere. Worry about you. I'm not worried about this other channel that's doing stuff about self-publishing. I don't care. Like, great, that's awesome. Good on them. But it doesn't affect me whatsoever. I'm just going to focus on being myself and doing the very best that I can for the audience that I'm trying to serve.
Great. I love that. Gosh, we're coming to time. We have to kind of land this plane. So let me ask you a final question here. Sure. When it comes to YouTube, and you may have already answered this, but let me just ask it anyway. When it comes to YouTube, what is the one takeaway that you want to make sure that our audience leaves with today? If nothing else, what's the one thing?
We've covered a lot of good things, but there's one argument that we didn't cover, which would be YouTube's saturated or YouTube's oversaturated. Baloney. I'm going to say that family-friendly style. That's baloney. It's not saturated. So get in the water now. And this comes right at the same time that YouTube this week had announced that come February 2027, they are doubling the qualifications to make the YouTube Partner Program. Is YouTube Partner Program everything in a that you want it to be? It can be for some folks, but I would recommend that if you want to get into the game, do it now, because they're grandfathering in people when it comes to February 2027 when they change the new qualifications. So meaning,
can you describe the partnership program in a nutshell?
Yeah, so the YouTube Partner Program is essentially the way that you're able to monetize your videos beyond just like affiliate links or selling your books. You're able to put ads on your videos. You're able to do channel memberships. You're able to get super stickers, super chats. People can donate money to you through this way. And that's through the YouTube Partner Program. Now, this is the higher tier one. There is still an entry level one where it's 500 subscribers and 3,000 watch time hours in a year. Which is still doable, but you won't get the ads and things like that. You'll get all the other stuff like affiliate stuff, which, by the way, we didn't even touch affiliates. Oh my gosh, they now have the new affiliate program where it integrates with Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, Walmart. So guess what? If your books are there, you can put your books right below each one of your videos, and people will be able to pick those things up like that.
Love it. Well, we're over time, and we barely scratched the surface. So I just want to remind the audience out there that if you liked what you heard here, check out Dale's book. It's called YouTube for Authors. You could find that at any of the major online retailers, Smashwords, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, Amazon. I'm pretty sure it's everywhere. Right, Dale?
Yep. Libraries too.
And if you want to find Dale, you want to look more, maybe you want to check out Dale's YouTube channel. It's at Dale L. Roberts. Again, that is youtube.com @ Dale Roberts. Consider also checking out Dale's Substack channel, which is selfpub.substack.com.
It's a mouthful.
And
sorry.
Should we put up your website too?
No, this is great. This is great. Yeah, people find that right there. That's good. Selfpublishingwithdale.com is the other one, which, by the way, it's going through a whole overhaul. I'm working with Tertulia for authors. So fingers crossed, I'll be unveiling that very soon.
Awesome. This was a lot of fun, Dale. I really appreciate your time. You guys, if you enjoyed this episode, do us a favor and please share it with your author friends. We really appreciate when you do that. If you want to check out what our upcoming episodes are going to be and who our guests are going to be, you can bookmark d2dlive.com. And finally, if you were just introduced to Dale, if you're new to Drafted Digital, if you're just sort of investigating self-publishing, sign up for a Drafted Digital account simply by going to draft2digital.com. To our viewers out there, we saw some familiar names viewing and commenting in the comments section. So thank you guys for joining us week in and week out. Saw a few more new names out there. So thank you. Welcome. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode. And then finally, Dale, thanks a million. I know you're a busy guy. We certainly appreciate everything that you're doing for this community out there. We value you not only as a peer, but as a friend. So thanks so much.
I appreciate that. Thanks for your time today.
Of course. Hang out backstage, grab a snack, and we'll see everybody else here, hopefully, next week at the same time. Bye, everyone.
Ebooks are great, but there's nothing quite like holding your own print book in your hand. It's a beautiful celebration of your writing accomplishment. That's why we've created D2D Print, a convenient and easy print-on-demand service built to make it easy for you. We've got more than 20 beautiful templates to give your book a pro look, and we can even convert your book cover into a machine-perfect full wraparound cover for print. Yet another convenient option for you and your books. And you can get started right now at drafteddigital.com.